Hello guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia. If you just see my face for the first time, thank you, welcome. I am a Nigerian who lives here in South Africa with my family, and I make various content. Yes, you will like it on this channel, so please do well to hit on the subscribe button. If you're not yet subscribed, give this video a huge thumbs up. Okay, it really helps the video if you do, and it makes me know what kind of videos you guys like. And yes, I'm kind of color blocking today. To all my returning subscribers, thank you so much. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, so in today's video I just want to talk about the negatives of living in South Africa as a migrant, or let me just say the negatives of living abroad. Okay, what is abroad? Somebody I saw on the internet, somebody said a certain country is not abroad. Abroad is anywhere that is not your home country is abroad for you. If you're an American and you live in South Africa, South Africa is abroad for you. If you're a Nigerian and you live in South Africa, is abroad for you, and vice versa. Like anywhere that is not your home country is termed abroad. So abroad is not only America or UK or Europe or anywhere like that. So that being said, in today's video I just want to talk about the negatives of living abroad. So in case you're planning to go abroad, and just have this in mind. If you're planning to come to South Africa, have this in mind. If you're planning to migrate to wherever you are to another place, have this in mind. Okay, so the first negatives I will say, this is from my own experience and from other people's experiences, or this is just a universal, or it's not peculiar to me alone. Some of the things here, I know it comes across, but it's peculiar to anybody that stays abroad or that is not living in their home country. Okay, so the first negative I will say about living abroad is loneliness. Yes, if you're living in a country that is not your country, I bet you will be damn very lonely. If you're not a kind of person that knows how to stay away from your friends and your relatives and your well-wishers, and I mean what have you, just know that living abroad is not for you. Because of course, when you're living abroad, you're living your comfort zone, you're living where you were raised, and you're going to somewhere else. That's how it is. If you're coming to South Africa from somewhere else, that means you're coming abroad, right? So it all pertains to every abroad. Like I said, the way I left Nigeria, for instance, and I came to South Africa, I am damn lonely. Yes, you'll be lonely. Your former friends, you will not be able to talk to them, or you will not be able to see them. Okay, you can talk to them because of course there's internet and social media and everything, so you'll be able to talk to your friends, but you won't be able to see them in real life every day. The kind of life that is being lived abroad is lonely. People just go to work, come back, you make friends but very few friends. Like, people just have a kind of very busy life, and people tend to stay on their own a lot. So if you're going abroad, just know that you'll be lonely. Find a way to combat loneliness. Okay, that's the first point. So the first point brings me to the second point. Yes, the second negative of staying abroad is that it impacts a lot on your marriage, being that you're going to be working so much, you're going to be working so hard, because isn't it you left your home country, so to come for a greener pasture in South Africa, Europe, America, wherever you came to, right? So you're going to be working so hard to the extent that it will impact on your marriage most times if you don't take time, because a man is working, the wife is working, or even if you're not working, like for some reason this loneliness impacts on your marriage. One party might even become depressed, even if you're not depressed, like real depressed, but once in a while you're always lonely. You don't have friends to go and distress with, hang out with, and all that. You tend to find whatever your partner does irritable. Sometimes you just snap at the slightest opportunity, for something you're not supposed to snap at on a normal day. So living abroad impacts on your marriage, really, because it's something you have to be intentional about your marriage when you're living abroad. Most times working so hard makes it impossible to bond as a couple. You hardly have this couple time alone you know, you're not able to go out alone with your spouse because probably nobody to take care of the kids. There's no granny around or relatives or friends to look after your kids. So your marriage will definitely suffer when you're living abroad. Like, I just want to tell you, it will suffer. It's something you have to be intentional about. If you have to, you know, make your marriage work living abroad, you have to find ways around it. Be intentional about it every day. Those situations whereby you're tempted to like snap or shout at each other or be angry at each other will always arise, but you just have to try to kind of create a balance and say to yourself, calm down, calm down. That's what I always say whenever I want to snap. Like whenever I'm really pissed, I'm stressed or whatever, I just tell myself, calm down, take a deep breath. So yeah, so living abroad definitely impacts on your marriage as a couple, because the loneliness will impact on you people. It will make you bored, it will make you stressed. Secondly, working so much will make you people not have time for each other. Okay, so that's one thing you should know. If you're planning to leave your country to come to South Africa, or if you're planning to leave South Africa to go to America, or if you're planning to go to anywhere that is not your country, just know that it will impact on you as a couple, as a couple in a relationship, or a married couple. The third negative of living abroad, they are all intertwined or interconnected. So the third negative is that you have to learn to do things yourself. Yes. Before I came to South Africa, I didn't know I was this strong. I had to do a lot of things myself. I had to be strong in some situations where you don't have an alternative. You have to do it yourself. You have to do a lot of things yourself too. You have to do your chores yourself, especially those that live in abroad, Europe or America, where you can't even find help. Even here in South Africa, yes, if most times you have to do things yourself. You have to make your kids hair yourself. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way. Things that you didn't know you are capable of doing, you do it yourself. Most times you have to fix things in your house yourself, okay? Because I mean, it costs money to seek that services from elsewhere. So you have to do a lot of things yourself when you come abroad. So you learn the hard way when you're living abroad. Definitely, you learn the good things the hard way, and you learn hard things the hard way. Oh my God. So definitely you have to learn a lot of things the hard way. So coming abroad or moving abroad, moving to South Africa, moving to America, moving to Canada, wherever it is, will teach you to do things yourself. Most of those things you learn how to do it the hard way. A lot of people will tell you that, oh, I didn't even know that I had the ability to make my kids' hair until I moved abroad. I didn't know I had the ability to become a handyman. I didn't know I could do some things, do the garden myself, wash clothes, you know, take care of the kids themselves, okay? Most people abroad, they give birth and they don't have help. They have to, even if you have cesarean birth, you have to wake up the next morning and bathe your baby and start taking care of the baby, okay? I didn't have that issue, but the last time before my mom came, my baby was already 6 months, but I had to try and, you know, take care of my baby myself. But if you are living in your home country, obviously your mom will be there, relatives, friends, well-wishers will be there. A lot of people will be there to help you out when you have a baby, or when you're in need, or when you're sick, or when you really need some kind of help. Yeah, so you learn to do things on your own when you live abroad, and you learn to do things the hard way. One of the negatives of living abroad, although not all that negative, but I mean, somehow when you really need that help and you can't find it, it becomes a negative for you. Okay, so the fourth point also connects to each other. Okay, so family connection is very important, but when you live abroad, most times you're trying to make ends meet. There's no much family connection like if you were not living abroad. Okay, this reason is because maybe it's because of human wants, or insatiable human wants. Let me just put it that way, because most times when people move abroad, they want to make extra money, they want to make extra income, they want to, like, you know, of course they came for greener pastures, so they will tell you they didn't come here to sleep, or, you know, so they try to work extra hard to make up for coming abroad. I just want to use my husband as an instance. Being a doctor that he is, he always does calls, night calls, morning calls. So you find out that sometimes if you don't take a chill pill and pause, you'll find that there will be disconnect in the family units. That's how it is a lot of times. That's one of the negatives of staying abroad. The kids will not be connected to the parents that much. The parents will not be connected to the kids that much because everybody is busy. Even kids themselves are busy. They are going from one sport to, from school. They go to swimming, they go to netball, they go to one sport. When they come back in the evening, they sleep and wake up, and the cycle continues. So you find out that there's this family disconnects when you move abroad, South Africa, wherever it is. Okay, so it's something you have to consciously make sure that the family connection, you try to make extra effort. I mean extra. When I mean extra, make extra effort to make sure that the family unit still is intact and the connection between parents, siblings, husband and wife is still intact. Yes. And another one is that your extended family, you're no longer connected to them the way you're connected to them, which still boils down to the first, second and third. Like, you're not connected to your family, you know. Like me, I've not seen one of my sisters in the past 12 years. Yes. Before I traveled to Nigeria the first time, she is no longer living in Nigeria and she now stays in the US, and I've not been to the US. So we've not seen ourselves since I left Nigeria. Although I've seen it, then the other of my siblings, I've seen one once, the other one twice, and just like that. So you find out that your immediate family connect is no longer there like it used to be if you were not living abroad. Let me say, if myself and all my siblings were living in Nigeria, we'll be seeing ourselves every now and then. There's an occasion, we'll come back, Christmas will come back, festive seasons will come back. So that's one of the huge negatives of living abroad. Apart from the, you know, your unit, your family, your nuclear family, or your extended family, you also have a disconnect with your extended family and your friends. The fifth point, or the fifth negative of living abroad, is a huge one for me: raising kids out of your culture. You know, when you're out of your country, like the way I am living in South Africa now, I'm not raising my kids in the proper Nigerian culture. The way I was raised is not the way my kids are being raised, because of course it's not possible for them to be raised. They no longer speak my language. They don't speak my language. They try, but they can't be that perfect. Just the way I knew how to speak my language at my age, they can't speak my language that much. So you find out that when you live abroad, or when you move abroad, you're not raising your kids in your culture. Yeah, you might try, but it can't be. The kids will not be that much rooted in your culture like you would have wanted it to be. So I don't know if you understand. Like, if I was living in Nigeria, my kids will know a lot of things that has to do with Nigeria, compared to now that they don't even know much about things that have to do in Nigeria. So when you live abroad, when you migrate to the diaspora, when you live abroad, when you come to South Africa, Europe, America, anywhere you are that is abroad, just know that your kids will no longer be raised in your culture. That's one of the negatives, and that's really a negative for me, because I really would love my kids to be rooted in the Igbo culture and understand the Igbo language and speak the Igbo language the way I can speak an adage, you know, in my culture. My kids will say, when I was a kid like them, if somebody speaks an adage for me, I already know the meaning. I know what the person is trying to say. Okay. So another negative of living abroad is food. Like, really, you no longer have access to your food the way you would have had access to it if you were living in your country. I don't have access to most of the food, and even if when you have access to them, they become very expensive, very, very expensive, and some of them, the taste is no longer the same when they probably are exported to where you are. You find out that you'll be missing a lot of food, you'll be missing a lot of food that you're used to. So food is a huge thing for me. That's one of the things I miss about Nigeria. Some of the food that I used to eat in Nigeria and some of our native food, I can't get them here, and when I get them here, they don't taste like the same. Yeah. Another negative of living abroad is that people have a lot of expectations for you. If you're living abroad, like, let me say, this one is Nigeria. Nigerians, when you live abroad, they begin to expect so much of you. People expect you to build a house. People expect you to drive expensive cars. Like, the expectation towards you is so high that sometimes you might not even meet the expectation. So that's one of the negatives of moving abroad. Immediately you move abroad, people might think that, oh, you've arrived, which is not always the case. Okay, most times you're not even near to being arriving. So that's one of the negatives for me living abroad. People have different expectations. People want to ask you for money, ask you for laptop, phones. I don't even have money and phone and all those things that you are asking me for, and or for the simple fact that you have moved abroad. So people's expectation for you becomes very high when you've moved abroad. Another negative of living abroad is that when you've lived abroad, out of your culture, out of your country, especially like us Africans, when you go back to your country, you find out that you may no longer be able to fit into your country the way things are done there. Like, you've lost a lot of, I don't know how to put it, you're no longer able to fit into your country. Let me just say, for instance, me, when I went to Nigeria the last time, the way things are done, I'm like, really, is that how you people, I'm like, why is the bank crowded like this, why are people not queuing up? Like, a lot of things will change for you. You may no longer be able to fit into your old self. You may no longer be able to fit that much into your community, like you've changed. South Africa has changed me, just like the video I made about how South African changed me. Maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing. So it may be a negative of moving abroad. It may also be a positive of moving abroad. The country that you have moved to may change you. Yeah, which is a good thing. It may change you for good or for bad, depending on how you see it. So for me, it might be a negative kind of. So the last point of moving abroad is that sometimes moving abroad can be mentally impacting. Like, some people slip into depression because of all these factors. Most of these factors, you see people, they say, people may be on antidepressant, people because they work too much, people, because marital issues, may start having marital issues, may start having issues with their children, social issues, not being able to socialize very well. A lot of things, can cause people to become depressed. So sometimes moving abroad, moving to South Africa from Nigeria, from anywhere you are, moving to America, moving to Canada, moving abroad generally can be mentally impacting. So these are some of the negatives of moving abroad. What do you think on the comment section? If you are presently living abroad, can you relate to any of the points? What do you think are the negatives of moving abroad, or would you consider moving abroad if you're not yet abroad, if you're in your home country? So tell me what you think on the comment section. And thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, it really helps the video. And there's also a thank button. I've not said it before, but if you want to support the channel, you can give us a super thanks and share this video if you can. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.